Everyone, David Nuño here, TexAgs Rewind on a Friday before the big game against Alabama. We're here at the Rollo Insurance headquarters for their huge grand opening. What a great event we had today. What a show. Rollo Insurance really bringing it, and the food was phenomenal, and we had Coach Schlossnagle hanging out with us. That was great. Billy Liucci, his thoughts on this game against Alabama and the chances out there. And, of course, the final countdown. Steve and Seth McKinney joined us here. It was a fun one on a Friday morning. I think I want this to be my permanent set. This is awesome, my friend.
Come on, man. You can use it. We built it. We like to use it.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful. So I want to talk some football with you.
Okay.
Let's talk about today, if we can, the Rollo Insurance grand opening. We've got an event all day. I mean, you've got stuff lined up. Coach Schloss going to come by. We've got music. We've got Taco Boss coming by, but also for a very good cause.
Absolutely. In order to give back to, the community, we like to do that, and also Down syndrome and so forth, which we've announced the websites on that, how to do that, how to match the funds. But also right now, if people who are coming by on the feeder road, if they'll stop by, there's a tent there. They can scan the QR code to register to win, and also get a breakfast taco. They'll kind of a drive-by taco thing there.
Drive-by, yeah.
Yeah. So just all free, and I wanted to announce that as well.
Yeah. So and by the way, let me reset the website dsabv.org/Rollo2021. All the donations are going to be matched, and this is something that means a lot to you and Keith, who I spoke to on Tuesday.
Well, Keith, I think, mentioned his uncle, and of course, I've got good friends we go to church with who they have a little boy who has Down syndrome, special boy named James, and so just seeing children and of course adults that we can give back to, that's a big deal, and that's always been something we've tried to do is give back.
So I was bragging about you, I think on the air. I'm pretty sure it was on the air when we were figuring out the prizes to give out today. The Tundra wheeled cooler, the $250 gift card. You're like, nah. We're giving out a Glock 19.
Absolutely. I'm a native Texan. The Rollo family's been around for a long time. It's funny, people say Rollo versus Rollo, and but the name goes back to the Vikings. In fact, when we were at the Colorado football game, we went by and got some coffee, and I was sitting there looking. There's a magazine with the Vikings, and one of the first Vikings listed was Rollo.
That's right.
So, of course, I showed that to my wife, and she didn't believe me all the years.
Didn't you take a picture and send it to your father as well?
Absolutely. Took the video, sent it to my dad, and had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all these pictures in his office, which, by the way, is bigger than some apartments that I've lived in, and that's not a joke. But they're all cowboy related, right? And I guess I should be seeing these Viking related.
I'm going to frame the Viking magazine, believe me. But, if you go downstairs, my daughter-in-law, and of course it looks kind of modern. When you come up here, you see the Texas map, and you walk in, the come and take it, don't tread on me. Well, then you've entered John Wayne's room here, right?
Of course, who would be giving away a Glock?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
I'm from Lovelady. I grew up in the country,
and
I'm not ashamed of my country roots. So.
Here.
Yeah.
Says the guy from White Oak.
Hey, Jason, before we get into some football, just talk to me about this years in the making. This is not like you have been doing this for a couple. You've worked your tail off for 20-plus years.
Well, yeah, we started in 1999, and back then, of course, both my boys were small and started from nothing and built this. But I will say this, I couldn't have done it without the great people that we have. Our people are fantastic. I'll give you an example. So last night, the cleaning crew who was supposed to do a deep clean, they canceled. Well, the people in the organization here, they said, hey, we'll help. I mean, I had like the director of education vacuuming the floor for an hour. One of my top agents, he's down there, using the Swiffer. I mean, we have amazing people, and that's the only way we could have built this thing over the years to go from a notepad to, I think like 35 locations now, one in Utah, one in Georgia, the rest in Texas. But it's just we're thankful and blessed. But without people, the right kind of people, you can't build something.
Yeah. We've been kind of breaking down two things, what can't happen and what must happen. I would love your take on both. And let's start off with what cannot happen, especially in that opening half against Alabama.
Well, what I was going to actually say was what can't happen is, I think it was 2 years ago, did the Aggies fall behind 14-0? Last year in Tuscaloosa, and they came back and tied it. This team can't fall behind. They can't. And so that goes without saying. With this team, with that Alabama team that they've got going right now, and I think mentally this A&M team has to start off well. I mean, when I say can't fall behind, they can't fall behind by more than a score. They have to hang around. Give the Kyle Field crowd a reason to get into it. Give the Kyle Field crowd a reason to be engaged at halftime and coming out of the break. So in order to do that, Nuño, what can't happen is what worries me most when A&M has the ball is it's just the quick 3 and out, run for a -1 or 1 yard, and 2 Zach Calzada incompletions and punt. And that entire stadium's going to go, no, here we go. We came here for this. And it's a killer. And I think at the very least, the Aggies need to come out. And I'll say this, like they did against Arkansas, believe it or not. They got a couple first downs, punted. Now the defense didn't live up to their end. They got a couple first downs, punted. Even if you do that, like if A&M can hang in and play the field position battle, then I think that's a successful start. Modest goals there offensively, I think. Last year or 2 years ago, they went 17 plays and drove down. Last year they fell behind 14-0, I think, and tied it up. But just get some first downs early. Settle Zach down. Just send at least a little bit of a message that we're running the football with some degree of success. They don't have to be gashing them. 4 yards here for Spiller, 6 yards for A-Chain, and mix those in. Not every play is going to work. So I think that's the start offensively that they need. And then defensively, you can't let Bama come out running the football and take the pressure. Chase Young has to beat you throwing. And I know he probably, he can beat most teams throwing. But you have to do that. And it's scary. The secondary, I think, is going to be way overmatched by Bama's skill position guys. And I think that's been a quiet weakness that hasn't been exploited yet this year because of who A&M's played. And then finally Saturday you saw it with Mississippi State. I mean, when Arkansas and KJ Jefferson have a decent – he averaged like 20 yards of completion. That was a major red flag. But up until last Saturday, they hadn't played a team that can pass, right? Really.
Right.
And then they got torched for 400-plus yards. So if you don't think Bama and Chase Young are going to do that, and the only way to mitigate that is to stop the run on early downs and make them predictable in the passing game, because then at least Elko can dial some things up in terms of pressure and also, coverages to kind of mask that weakness, so to speak.
And guys, we're going to start off with number 1 Alabama, 5-0, 2-0 in the SEC versus Texas A&M, 3-2, 0-2 in SEC play, 7 o'clock CBS game at Kyle Field. Bama is favored by 17.5 points. We'll start with Steve this time.
You know what? What am I, tied for first right now? Screw it.
With me?
I'm picking A&M.
We're
going to do it. We're going to pull it.
Fighting Texas Aggie, Steve McKinney.
I got a few to give.
Got a story for you.
Seth?
Old Rock. And Steve McKinney walk into a bar, and Seth McKinney said the Alabama with the Crimson Tide were going to beat the Aggies. Steve said, hell no.
That's a good one. Why do I got to be next after that? You just ruined my negative vibe. Oh, man.
Trying to lift the spirits.
Are we picking against the spread? I'm picking A&M to cover, but
okay,
Bama to win.
All right. I'm not picking them to cover because I'm doing really bad right now, and I gotta take off the maroon glasses for this pick. I don't think they're going to cover.
I have a weird
I hope
feeling.
they do.
It's not smart.
I hope they win.
It's not smart to pick against Alabama.
I know. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
It's not smart.
Look, this is strictly business.
It is.
Emotionally, I'm like all in.
Fair. Look, you've made some terrible picks in favor of the Aggies over the years.
Terrible.
I have. And Texas, I've made some anti-Texas picks
The
because
Walrus.
I'm such an Aggie.
And I sit there and pick Texas every week, hoping to jinx them. And sometimes it works. It's worked a lot in the last few years. But I actually am going to pick – what's that spread that we're working on?
17.5.
That half a point,
I
man.
know that's.
Some would say that Alabama will cover that by halftime. They did against the number 12 team in the country last week.
Kyle Field, man, Saturday night.
I'm going to pick A&M to figure out a way to cover. I do think Bama's going to win. I think I've picked A&M to beat Alabama once during the. I think I picked them in 2012. I did pick them in 2012. I think I've picked them once since then. It's just tough.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it.
I'd like to think our relationship is good. You know, I'm a guy that, you know, there's a definite line between who the coach is and who the player is, but certainly at 51 years old and having my own children in college, you have a better perspective on relationships and that kind of thing. I admittedly, I didn't do a great job of that as a 30-year-old head coach.
Right.
I was way too hard on the players, and so, but now, you know, I mean, I think I think I'm a pretty easy guy to play for as long as you show up on time and give great effort. You know, when you stop taking control of the things you can control, that's when we butt heads. But in terms of our team, I think basically, you know, the culture stuff. Just you know, the first 2 weeks were spent. Hey man, this is what your locker is supposed to look like. Hey, this is you know where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there, and it's not okay to, you know, I'm not lowering the bar ever, and if anything, we'll raise it over time. But no, they've been great, to be honest with you, and guys are super excited for tonight. And I think there are some on the field things that certainly, I mean, we've been practicing hard since August 30th, so in some form, whether it be small group work or full scale team practice, and so we're about. We've put in about 40% of what we would want to do. So if somebody comes to the ball game tonight, there are things that we would do in the spring that we haven't even practiced yet to this point. So tonight's mainly about just seeing how guys react to the environment, having a great experience, getting to do something other than play against yourself, which is always good. And then you know, the things we have practiced, you know, when there's opportunities to do some things on offense or defense, whatever, then it gives us a chance to practice it, and you know what we call inexpensive experience, right? If you screw something up tonight, it doesn't cost you a win or loss, but it certainly has. It's broader than just an inter-squad game, so it's another step closer to the real stuff, which starts in February.
All right, thank you so much for watching TexAgs Rewind. Like it, subscribe to it, comment, share it, do all that, and even if you hate us, you're still helping pay us. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time.